John and Darin's office chairs provided by GT Omega Racing. You can check them out at gtomegaracing.com. This show brought to you by Welcome to This Week Inside Sim Racing, December 9th edition. I'm Darin Ganji. Alongside me here is John Sable. As you can see, we got our fancy, ugly Christmas sweaters on. Matter of fact, let's hear it in chat. Whose do you like better? The elf or the dinosaur?
I think it's a pretty close composition.
It is. I like yours. Yours is a little more classy. I look like Will Ferrell.
Well, that's what I love about yours.
Yeah, so anyway, thank you all for joining us. We'd appreciate a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to us here on YouTube. On today's show, we're going to talk about 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Thank you all for helping us get there. The iRacing new build, or the fact that iRacing is down.
The forthcoming new build.
Yes. Dirt Rally version 1.0 new release, and we got a tech tip for Dirt Rally for some of you direct drive, or actually a bunch of people could probably get some help from this tech tip. Assetto Corsa Dream Pack 3 news. We're going to talk about a few polls and our sim rig of the month, week, whatever you want to call it. But we've got Mayamans Porsche chassis simulator that's work in progress. This thing is sick.
It is insane. I've never seen anything like this.
I mentioned in the thread in our forums that I want to go visit him when it's all done. That would make for wouldn't it be cool if both of us went?
Oh, absolutely.
So, anyway, Mayaman's going to try to join us in chat. I believe his name is Will, so hopefully he'll be with us to answer some questions. We were going to have Glenn McGee on the show, but we couldn't coordinate it time-wise. Weren't able to reach him in the last hour or so, and we just honestly wanted to have fun and not have the extra stress of that today. So, Glenn will probably be on early next year, and this is the last This Week Inside Sim Racing show of the year. We do have a few other shows coming.
Yes.
After this, and probably sporadically through the end of the year. So this isn't the last show of the year on our channel, but the last live show.
Correct.
So, 100,000 subscribers.
Big milestone.
That's a huge milestone for us. And again, thank you all for helping us get there.
You pull up chat?
Yeah, I shouldn't be looking at chat. People are talking about our sweaters. Anyway, thank you all for helping us get to 100,000 subscribers. That was, man, we kept watching that counter, and we couldn't wait for it to cross. I mean, we were like almost counting the subscribers as it hit 100,000.
I've never paid so much attention to it.
And I did a blog post on our website, and I thanked everybody that's been involved on the show. Sean Cole, Jessica Lopez, Tom Hackey, some of the editors that we've had working for us, Will Desper, Molly Allen, Kimbo May, John, of course. But, without all of that help, we wouldn't have got to where we're at now. And anyway, it's just really cool that we've hit that milestone. I remember when we crossed 10,000 and we were like, wow, that is major. And then like 25,000, it's like, whoa, we got 25. But 100,000, that's 6 digits. That's a big number.
That is. And going to get that plaque.
Yeah. I asked our YouTube partner, my contact, when am I getting that plaque or medal, whatever it is. He said once the next month crosses, we should see it in our dashboard. So, once we see that, then we can basically say, please send it to us. Mm-hmm. So we'll be getting that. We'll share it with you guys here live.
Up on the wall.
Yeah, it'll be up on the wall, but we'll share it with you guys. We'll unbox it here on the show. So.
There we go.
So, let's get to some regular news now.
Sure, let's talk some iRacing.
So, as a lot of you know, the iRacing new build has not launched yet.
No. It's, it was scheduled to launch yesterday, and it was going to have new content, including the McLaren F1 that we're watching now from a little test drive we released on Friday with the staging, the work in progress build that we got early access to. So thanks to iRacing for that.
Yeah.
And
that was a lot of fun doing those.
That was a lot of fun doing those. So yeah, we're gonna have McLaren F1, and we jump ahead here, and here's some driving around the Nordschleife, of course.
That was a lot of fun too. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping that they get everything back in order very soon, because I want to join in on some of those Week 13 races where
absolutely
don't have to worry about safety rating and I rating, but we get to run the green hell. But that, and I said during this video that this is probably one of my favorite versions of Nordschleife to date.
Yeah, it is.
John, got to show off the bat.
That's right, you got to show off the bat, and show off the proper orange McLaren livery, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, and it's got an Inside Sim Racing logo on it too. So
exactly, that helps.
Gotta love that.
But yeah, let me jump to the top of the release notes at our page. But yeah, just a whole lot of stuff that's going to be coming. Really impressive list of release notes. I think we got some of the highlights here. Stuff as, the new, along with Nurburgring and McLaren have national, I think is it Southern National coming, another track.
Yep.
They're doing some different things as far as data and eliminating some of the 3+ year old like single lap data, because who needs that?
Yeah, and it's obviously changed too, based on tire models and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They also added, I don't know if did you talk about debris?
Nope.
They added, you're gonna see when it's released, debris, marbles, and gravel being flung off your tires and impacting cars behind. Tire warmers used on cars that use them in real life. And a bunch of graphic adjustments. And I guess that better keeping up with the times and helping performance.
Yeah, they added a few new graphics options. Like you can now do I guess like second pass or double pass on trees or the shadows, make them look better. And they also did some performance improvements, including some triple screen performance improvements, which helps because I had to turn a lot of things down.
Yeah, we definitely need that. Popcorn effects that make sparks.
Yeah, I wish they already had sparks, but these sparks are much better.
They look really cool. You can see them in our videos too.
Yes.
So yeah, lots of cool stuff coming in that build. So basically, the delay was for back-end website implementation. If you haven't heard yet, they are actually. Let's see if they've made any progress. I'm going to try to pull it up here on the side. But I mean, right now, if you try to log, at least we're getting an iRacing is offline. I was getting a bad gateway in Jinx error and server issue. So now at least they got their splash screen up. And I think you can actually, if you go members.iracing.com/downloads, you can download the current build as they're working on this issue. So.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's a tough thing. It's. As they said, I think Steve Myers put out a blog post a couple weeks ago that they're redoing the website and cleaning up the back end. Pretty much it's just a mess of, I think he explained it as like spaghetti, spider webs or something everywhere of information. And they really needed to clean that up, and they used this opportunity. Unfortunately, it coincides with, the F1 car in the Nurburgring.
Probably one of the most anticipated two of the most anticipated pieces of content coming to iRacing pretty much in their whole existence.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are waiting for that track, both the GP and the Nordschleife.
Yeah.
It has so many different names, but the Green Hell. And then that new F1 car. It's funny too how people talk about that F1 car. It's like, that was the slowest car in the in the field this year in F1, but who cares, because
we're all driving it.
Everybody's got to drive it against each other. It's not like I think I mentioned this last week, it's not like we have to drive against the Ferrari and the Mercedes and all those other cars. It's just this car.
Yeah, and trust me, it's fast enough. If you watch those videos.
The thing is a beast, man. It is, we were driving the baseline, so I'm sure with some, a lot of tweaks, it's going to be more of a pleasure to drive, but it was a handful.
Yeah, honestly, it did feel better driving around Nordschleife, though. I think at high-speed corners, the aero grip felt really good. Because around the GP track, you got a lot of slow corners. And man, it was hard to get that car to
get grip
off those corners.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of things to play with there.
Anything else we want to talk about from this build? Because there's so many things.
There are so many things. Let me see a couple other ones.
New tire and rumble strip sounds.
You can now race with 60 cars, up to 60 cars at a track through pit stall sharing.
Right,
and
which is cool.
Yeah, and pretty much they explained it is you're going to have maybe 2 teams assigned to a pit stall, but if another car is in your pit stall when you come into the pits, it's going to be invisible. You'll pit. You'll never know they're there.
People were trying to guess my age. I'm not 66.
Say 66.
93 puggy. Hey,
brutal.
If I was 66, I look damn good for 66, if I do say so.
You're doing well.
I'm 47. 66 stuff. Anyway, so yeah, this is something else. So yeah, versus back to that 60 pit stalls or shared stalls. Now it's not limited to the track.
Correct.
How many pit stalls are on that track? Because I know when I was putting together some special events, I was trying to find one that had the most pit stalls so we could fit as many people as we could in that particular race. Now you can just do up to 60.
Yeah.
So, something too about if you're curious. Actually, maybe we should mention this too because a lot of people still haven't got it. One thing, first of all, the DRS. Not all the tracks are going to have DRS zones, so that's not the part I was referring to.
Even though they did have a lot of tracks listed on the release notes.
Oh, cool.
Which was, even ones outside of F1, like Watkins Glen and VIR.
Okay.
So that was cool.
I thought someone said Daytona Road Course.
Maybe, I didn't see that.
So DRS zones are going to not be at every track, but are going to be at a handful. And then one of the questions that we kept getting from people watching our videos is the ERS.
Yes.
People were assuming that we could deploy it. And that has not been the case in real F1 for a few years now. It's automatic. John did some research on it. Basically, they get 33 seconds worth per lap or something like that.
Yeah, that's what the official F1 website, they said about 33. iRacing, a little bit of Alpha Forum reading, talking about 30.
Okay. So, and that you have to have that fully charged or charged to be able to take advantage of that 30.
Yes.
So people were asking, like during John's Nordschleife, the Nordschleife and the GP course, why aren't you deploying ERS? Because it only was used for the first 30 seconds or so of the lap, and then it just recharged all the way and sat full. There is no way to deploy it. It's automatic.
Correct. There is, I did do some more reading yesterday, and I think I think right now when you get the car, it's labeled as push to pass. And there isn't a push to pass in F1, but I guess there is a way for drivers to get, if they're fully charged, get like a little bit of energy for a short spurt. And I didn't know about this until like yesterday reading up on it.
But iRacing has
But
this?
it looks like they have it. I mapped my button on a wheel for that, and I didn't notice a difference. But I don't know if maybe I wasn't fully recharged or I didn't know how it worked then. So anyway, there's still a lot of explaining that iRacing needs to do for the general public. And then, of course, once the bill is out there, we'll all get a chance.
Did you ever race the F1 car? The old one, the Williams?
I probably did a race or two.
I didn't do any.
Really?
Yeah, and I think part of it was because I never had a setup.
Yeah.
And I just, and that's a tough car to drive too, and to be fast and consistent. So
that's a very hard car to race because of closing speeds.
Yeah.
If you're in a field and you got some guys who are braking slightly earlier, you're on top of them.
Yep.
So those F1 cars are hard to race.
One last thing on the iRacing front. So the Roof and Ford GT are getting the X after Season 1?
Yeah, after Season 1. Because at the beginning of Season 2, the Audi R8 is coming.
And the
Mercedes AMG, which both those cars I'm really excited about.
Yeah, and those two replacing the Roof, which basically had a streetcar interior.
Yes.
And the Ford GT, which wasn't in that series. I don't think it was.
It was years ago.
Okay.
So it's an old car.
It's dated.
Yeah.
So anyway, those cars are going to be replaced. So
So lots of happening. So hopefully that all comes up soon, and you guys can go out and drive that.
Someone just said iRacing was back online.
Oh, really? No, still offline for us.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sometimes if you refresh on that updating page, maybe back up. Hold on.
I tell you, this is some good live entertainment
Oh,
here.
we have a login. So it looks like, hey, don't leave the show.
Wait,
no, it's not up. It's not up.
It's down. It's down.
Yeah. You know what, though? Log in, start downloading, and continue watching the show.
Yes, you can at least do that.
All right, on to some other news. We've talked enough about iRacing. Let's get on to...
Wait, we talk about things other than iRacing?
Yeah, this isn't inside iRacing, like some people refer to us as.
Well, we were inside Forza back in September.
Yeah.
So.
Our inside arcade racing we get anytime we cover anything that isn't hardcore sim.
Yeah, things roll in and out. Anyway.
Someone's asked, what are the pedals behind John?
These are the...
Club Sport V2s.
Club Sport V2s, because we just did our V3 video yesterday. We'll talk about that later.
Everybody's like, bye, wait, don't leave. Stay and watch the show. We got lots to talk about.
Okay, moving on to something else. Let's talk a little bit about Dirt Rally, if I get the video to come up. And...
Oh, wait, we're in the middle of the...
Are we?
Yeah.
Whoops. Let's
back up.
Let's back up. There we go.
That's our tech tip for Dirt Rally. We'll get to that in a minute.
But yeah, Dirt Rally released, Codemasters released version 1.0 on Steam, so it is not an early access title anymore. It's out.
It's official.
It's a finished game. And almost just as importantly, they also announced that it will be coming to the consoles on April 5th, 2016.
A lot of people have been asking about that, so that's going to be really cool.
Yeah. And seeing Darin driving the update with the Winter Wonderland, which is in Sweden. And
that's a lot of fun.
It is definitely a Winter Wonderland.
It is. I love the snow effects, like when you go off the side. Like you went off last night. We were practicing, and you were trying out the pedals or something, and you put it in reverse and spun the tires, and snowflakes came, up onto the screen. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it looked awesome.
Excuse me.
But how was it to drive in the snow? Is it a lot slicker than dirt?
No, in this particular stage, it was pretty close. You said you drove one that had more snow on the ground, and you said it was pretty slick, wasn't it?
I drove one where you couldn't see any dirt, and it was super tight. And yeah, I could barely go full throttle.
Someone's saying the video's laggy. Maybe you need to refresh. Let me see what we're getting here. Yeah, we're getting a laggy video. Do we have multiple videos on this?
Nope. Oh, well, actually, we do, but it's not running. But anyway.
That's probably why.
Want to roll into the tech tip?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we can put multiple videos on one. Oh, we went too far into the tech tip.
Did we?
Yeah, let's back it up a little bit and let's pause it and talk about this real quick. So I got a tech tip for you guys here for this week. And when I was setting up this particular setup here, with the AccuForce, I'm running Fanatic Club Sport V3 pedals. I've got the Club Sport handbrake, button boxes, all sorts of stuff. I couldn't get my controller config to save. Every time I backed out, my controls would reset. Mm-hmm. So I talked to Don Miller at Sim Experience, who I know he has got a connection at Codemasters, because they gave Codemasters a wheel to implement that AccuForce. So if you didn't know, the AccuForce is now natively supported in Dirt Rally. So the guys at Sim Experience sent Codemasters a wheel for the Dirt team and the F1 team. So F1 team is going to get an update too with the AccuForce configuration. So anyway, I mapped everything. I'd go out and I'd come back in and all my mappings would be gone except for the AccuForce. So I asked if they could check into it. They did. Codemasters got back to them within a day. So now let's roll that tech tip video.
Okay.
So basically what you got to do is so with this default setting, there's two buttons that are mapped on the AccuForce, menu select and menu back. And if you push one of those to enter versus the enter key, it'll use the default AccuForce mapping, and then you will lose all of your other controller mapping. So go in, map your controls like you're seeing me do here. Map your pedals, map your shifters, whatever you've got, your extra peripherals. And then once you're done, go back, and I'll get to it here in a second. You'll go back to your save profile or your profile screen. And it should be coming up here any second. Okay, so go back to this menu. You go to right here, driver, and then you go to the driver, and then you save profile where I'm pointing to here. Save the profile, and then it'll save all your mappings. Then every time you enter Dirt Rally, do not push a button on the wheel to start it from the menu screen. Hit enter on the keyboard like I showed in the beginning of that tip, and then you can use the menu back and forward buttons, menu select and back, once you're in game. But from that initial splash screen, the launch screen, you got to hit the enter key or it will not save. And they're looking into fixing that, but this is a workaround for now. So you don't have to remap your stuff. You don't have to go edit any INI files. You can use the default profiles, and everything should be good. And as a matter of fact, there's a thing called there's a workshop, Steam workshop, where people can share setups. They can share force feedback tuning for all the different wheels. I'm going to create one for the AccuForce, and I'm going to share it in the workshop. I'm also going to share my Sim Commander settings. So if anybody's got an AccuForce, they want to, check out my settings, I'm going to have those available for you guys pretty soon.
Speaking also of fixing things, I found the mouse is not working very well right now. So I'm hoping
when you make some
that.
changes, you were talking about you changed graphics.
Yeah, well, first off, it for some reason disables the mouse when you first get in, and you have to go to controls and enable it, and I can use the mouse. And then I was adjusting some graphics settings because I'm working on doing the single monitor piece on the BenQs, and when I changed that, I lost my mouse again. And I go back in the controls and add mouse, and it's just annoying. So
I don't know why they just don't have it added permanently.
It was before this update, so
Right.
I don't know why they changed that. I don't know. I guess maybe people didn't like the mouse. I know if you don't turn it off or you have it on your rig and you start moving around, it can shake and pop up on you the Dorito chip.
Yeah. It's a gamer muscle called it the Dorito chip. Perfectly put. It looks like a little Dorito.
It does.
Nacho cheese Dorito. That's one of my favorite chips, by the way. I love nacho cheese Doritos.
But yeah, so hopefully a couple of those things will get cleaned up as we go.
Yeah, and back to Dirt Rally. It's cool to see that they got to version 1.0. They pretty much every month they came out with a new update, new content. And it's great to hear it's going to the consoles. I know a lot of people are going to be excited about that.
Got questions weekly.
Yeah, is it going to come to the consoles? So if you're watching and you own a PS4 or an Xbox One, it's coming, and long overdue, I think. And actually, I'm glad that they did the testing and early access. Perfect platform to do it on the PC. Now it's going to transition over.
Yeah, in terms of sim racing, this is definitely probably one of the best executed uses of the early access. I know Assetto Corsa also did it and did pretty well with that. But there's been a lot of Assetto Corsa. There's been a lot of updates post, I would call, release, post 1.0.
Yep.
Where this I feel like is overall pretty polished by a couple little things, and then we'll see what they do on the DLC front. I have to imagine. I hope they're going to release some more tracks, more events, because a lot of people are kind of like, we want more.
I want to see it being. I'd love to see it to be modded.
Yeah.
So where some of these, these tracks that have been around forever in Richard Burns Rally and the modding communities put a lot of time and effort into that. Maybe update them graphically and port those into Dirt Rally. That'd be awesome. Yeah, it needs more stages.
Yes.
Not that I've tapped into all of them.
Yes.
And all the cars.
Yeah.
But matter of fact, one of our next test drives, we're going to do Dirt Rally.
Yep.
So do a little Dirt Rally competition.
That's right.
So anyway, yeah, we're really happy to see them, and I'm really happy to see Dirt go more of the hardcore route.
Yes.
You can fully adjust field of view in game now, and I mean they don't have true triple screen support where you can adjust bezels and all that stuff, and eye distance and monitor size, but you can do a lot of adjustments to your settings, your field of view settings, and as you can see in that video that I was just running. I'm not looking at the wheel or the dash. I got the top of the dash. But anyway, it's really cool. I just saw a question really quick. Back to some iRacing. Darin, you should get Andrea to do a few rookie races on iRacing. Andrea already has an account on iRacing and as far as I know, got to her D license on both road and oval, and ran some. I was talking about a special event. We did a Mazda race. I think it was the Mazdas and the Solstices at the Indy MotoGP course.
Okay.
So we wanted to run something different.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people show up for it. We had 25, 30 people. And Andrea ran it. It was like an hour and a half race. She did pretty good. Beat a lot of people.
It's a long race.
Yeah. And then there was a wives, girlfriends, and sisters, basically a woman's race that some guy put together on iRacing. And Andrea entered that and won it. So, yeah. And that was a good race. They raced the MX-5 at Okayama.
Okay, yep.
And Andrea won it, so she hasn't. You know what? I've been trying to get her to come do. You haven't seen her even drive since you've been here.
Nope.
She's pretty good, and I just haven't. She just hasn't been interested in doing it lately. So I don't know. Maybe coming soon we'll get her to run some laps. But
I don't think I'm gonna get Angela to ever drive.
Really? I don't think Andrea. I had to do some training.
Yeah.
And be patient with her.
Yeah.
But I think it made her a better driver in real life too. I don't know if I ever told you the story. We were coming home from a volleyball tournament one day, like in San Diego, and I was just pooped. For some reason, I could never sleep. I was the coach. And I could never sleep the night before tournament games. I was always all stressed out. So anyway, I'm just pooped on the way home, and Andrea's driving, and we had a blowout. And she handled the car danced, and we were on the freeway going like 60, almost 70 miles an hour, and she managed the car to the side of the road perfectly, helped maintain control, basically saved our lives.
Yeah.
But I think it made her a better driver in real life, because she understood oversteer and how a car reacts to oversteer and stuff like that. So it took some time to get her to that point, but she got good.
No, I fully agree. I mean, I about wiped out on the highway in an ice storm in Wichita, Kansas with my M3, and it was full lock. Okay, it was busy. So
well, I think it teaches you to not panic in those situations.
It teaches you not to slam the brake, to give a little throttle, work through it. Yeah, not to panic.
Yeah, I've had some situations in my Camaro. One in particular, I was coming into an intersection. Guy didn't see me coming. I mean, I had the right of way. Started making the left in front of me, and I could have either gone left into some more traffic or basically gas it and go right and just miss him. And I did that, but it happened so fast. It's like it was just a reaction, and you don't have any time to think in those situations. But I got out of that situation, I think, because of sim racing. Being able to react, to a situation like that in a split second. So. Anyway, got kind of off subject there, but
that's right. So I get the youngins sim racing.
Yes, and the wives and girlfriends. Good luck,
girlfriend. Hey, got the little one. I have confidence in her.
Good luck there too, man. I had two little girls too, and that are now full-grown women, and neither of them got into sim racing, unfortunately. I used it to train the younger one, Gianna, when she was getting her license. Anyway, Assetto Corsa Dream Pack 3 release date. Well, you have that in the title. What is the release date? That's December 17th or something like that.
December 17th, yes. It is next Monday, I believe. But yeah, they announced, we knew a Dream Pack 3 was coming. We just didn't have an official date, so they released this trailer.
Ooh, laser scan Brands Hatch.
Yep, and they got Brands Hatch, which is the only track coming, and the only other, I guess, car you can say that's been confirmed so far is this little Ford Escort, which is adorable.
Oh, isn't it cute?
It is. It is cute.
Something they teased that Lotus 25.
Yeah, and so I got a list here of cars that we believe are coming from just different Assetto Corsa forums and stuff, and that includes the Lotus 25, the Lotus 72D, the McLaren 650 GT3, which is the updated version of the MP4-12C, the Mercedes AMG GT3, which we were talking about that coming to iRacing, a Barth 500 Assetto Corsa, whatever that is, and then the Lamborghini Gallardo LP574 Super Iago. Oh.
How do you say that? Super Iago?
Super Liego? Oh boy.
If we pronounced it in how we were taught English here in America, that would be Super Legera.
Yeah, maybe Super Ligera. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of the unofficial list so far, with only the 4 being a hard confirmation, but I think this is pretty accurate. And yeah, some interesting cars coming here. I mean, I know GT3 cars are everywhere, and people get kind of tired of them, but oh man, it's back down.
Yeah, iRacing. I just saw someone say internal server error. iRacing is down again. Poor guys. I really feel for them. You know, because I had some forum issues in the last week or two, and we don't get, you know, near the amount of people trying to access the forums at one time. But I was like, I gotta get the forum back up. The forum's down. So I can't even imagine what these guys are going through. Huge build. More iRacing news, but anyway, welcome back. Welcome back. If you went to go try to get iRacing going and you got the 500 internal server error. So anyway, we feel sorry for our buddies over at iRacing, and that sucks.
So anyway, back to Assetto Corsa. That Dream Pack's coming. Let me know, let us know in the comments here if you're interested in some of those cars that we named off.
I like that car list. I think that's pretty cool. I love driving old. Like is that the Ford Escort that you were saying looks cute?
Yeah, the Ford Escort I think is pretty adorable.
I love driving old cars like that. I'm looking forward to driving that Lotus 25.
I just don't know how much it's going to differ from the 49.
I don't think it's got as much power.
Yeah.
First of all, so that's a good question.
The Lotus 72D is kind of interesting because it's kind of like, I was looking at images of it last night, and it's kind of like a tweener between the 49 and the 79 in like evolution. So it has the wings, but they're not quite as
79. The wings came out not long after the 49.
Yeah, the 49, the next iterations of the 49 had wings on them. That's when they had those obnoxious giant wings that they just stuck on the car.
Yep.
And they had a bunch of them actually. The mountings break and bad things happen.
Got a good amount of people watching. 223.
Oh man, doing well.
Yeah.
See?
Thank you all for joining us.
That's what happens when iRacing's down.
If you're just coming into the show and wondering why we're wearing, this is Ugly Sweater Day. So, and we haven't. I don't know if we missed it, but who'd you like better, the elf or the dinosaurs? I think we both have some cool ugly sweaters. Yours isn't even a sweater. Yours is a sweatshirt.
What? Oh, yeah.
That don't count. This is a sweater.
I know.
Got this puppy at Walmart.
Apparently, Walmart has the real stuff.
By the way, my wife was in the chat. People were talking about her too, but so we got these because we're going to an ugly Christmas sweater party coming up in a couple weeks. So that's why I got this.
I got this because it's awesome.
All right, what do we got next?
Okay.
Done with Assetto Corsa? We keep bouncing all over the place.
I think we are ADD today. I think we pretty much covered it. So yeah, let me know what you're thinking of the pack. Okay, now on to Project Cars. Speaking of new content, and speaking again of the Mercedes AMG GT3, one of those examples when a car is released in one sim, it gets licensed to all the sims. And yeah, they had previews of some new cars. So Mercedes had a fictional track that they showed there in Scotland, and then there was a picture of the Corvette C7R headlight. And then also coming on the 22nd of this month is a Renault Sport Pack, which features a handful of Renaults, the Sport RS01 that you see in there in the picture.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that. I don't know what that. Let me know what that is. I don't know what that is. That wasn't listed for some reason. There's the Formula 3.5, which is another very popular.
Sport RS01. Maybe that was that.
No, that was. We should have previously. That's a new car. Yeah, I'm not sure what that old car is.
What's that track?
That is a fictional Scotland, which I believe could be the next California
Highway.
Yeah.
One of my favorite project cars. That's my test track.
So
why do people keep talking about your goatee?
He's
the musketeer. He's had this goatee like since we started.
By the way, this isn't a goatee. It's just as much of a beard as I can grow.
Yeah, John. I asked John, I'm like, because I think it was after the Gamer Muscle where he was talking about how it's like perfectly groomed. I'm like, so what do you do with that off camera? John's like, no, this is just how it grows.
No, it grows. I'm not like
He's the
styling
musketeer,
this.
naturally.
And someone I saw this earlier, and by the way, when I do shave, I do look like I'm like 12 years old. So, no.
Someone just said, haha, those Renault cars say elf on them. Go, Darin. By the way, I think I was winning the sweater contest. Look, back here. Elf, elf, Dino, elf, 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 Dino.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, you loved it when I came down.
I like it.
When I put it on, I'm like, oh my god. With the belt, man. Make my hair curly, and I'm like Will Ferrell's long lost brother.
You're there. So yeah, that's getting back on topic as we've been off topic the whole show. That's Project Cars, new content coming. Renault Pack coming the 22nd. Don't know a price on that yet, even though their DLC's been pretty affordable.
Yeah, it's mostly been under $10.
Oh yeah, a lot of them have bounced between like $3 and $8, depending on how much you get. So it'd be interesting what that Formula 3.5 is, because I believe I'm correct in this. I believe there aren't any officially licensed open wheel cars in Project Cars. Currently, they're all fictional.
No, I think you're right.
So this is the first officially licensed.
Yeah, it's like the Formula A, Formula B.
C, yeah, they got like an IndyCar knockoff. They got the real IndyCar coming. We talked about that last week. But yeah, no, that's cool. It'll be interesting what that 3.5 car is like, because there's that car is in R Factor 2. There's a very popular mod. I'm forgetting the mod team off the top of my head for Assetto Corsa, and that car is coming to iRacing. So again, another car that's in a lot of sims that you can kind of cross compare.
Cool. Someone was saying pointy ears. I need pointy ears. Someone do a meme of me. Add some curly hair and a hat and some pointy ears. Like, fully make me elfed out.
That's right.
That would be funny.
Send it to us on Twitter.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay.
We'll share it with everybody if you do.
That's right. Okay, done with the news now, and on to the poll question. And last week we asked, what did you buy for Black Friday / Cyber Monday? Pretty much the whole weekend of now the whole world gets deals on stuff. And here are the results. And
you went to the other one. Oh no, that's it.
That's
Sorry.
right. That's correct. So, and you can see the forums, which have been updated in the last week and look real fancy.
Why, thank you.
And
I can take credit for that.
You can. And so leading the way with 27% was nothing, which either meant you were broke or you had everything you wanted. A close second was 24% people bought new wheels, which that's a pretty solid number. 18% of you guys bought some new games or software, 12% with computer parts, and 7% with pedals. So, yeah, some pretty good spending. And if you came out and vote, thank you. Had about 50 votes so far, which isn't too shabby for the first poll question.
Yep.
And
I was part of the 27% nothing.
were you?
Did you vote on the poll?
I don't remember if I did. I might not have.
You would be on the 12% computer parts.
I did buy computer parts.
So you could have bumped that to 13%.
And then, so this week's poll is, since we were talking about a lot of iRacing, want to know, are you guys iRacing members? And have a couple options there. You can say, yes, I love it. Yes, but I'm going to unsubscribe, not a fan. No, I was a member. No, never been. No, I'm interested. So a lot of different options there, and going to get an idea where you guys stand, which kind of helps us how much we talk about different things.
Do we have a link to that in the description?
We do have a link to that in the description.
So join in on that poll. Become a member of our forums if you're not, and let us know about what you think about iRacing. Speaking of which, the splash screen's back.
They're watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did see someone actually in the comments, I didn't see the name, who said that they signed up on the forums just to vote.
Oh, cool.
So that's perfect. Love for you guys to come by. Like I said, the forums have been updated. They are really slick now. Runs well, looks great.
And our new website. We got a new website too that's running really well. You know who I didn't see in chat? Is Wim with us today?
He came in, I saw him at the top.
Okay.
He said he showed up a little late. So.
Okay. Someone just asked, is my wife, and this is blocked because we have Jessica's name blocked because there's
Because you guys.
Not, well,
not you guys necessarily.
Yeah, there's some people that say
Internets.
some not so nice things about Jessica. Anyway, someone asked if Jessica Lopez is my wife's sister. No relation. Lopez is a very popular
Especially in Southern California.
Latino name, especially in Southern California. There's lots of Lopez.
Yeah.
So, nope, no relation. Pablo GoPro Lopez.
That's right.
No relation. So, actually, maybe Pablo and Jessica or Pablo and Andrea are like long lost cousins or something.
It would be interesting, the family tree somewhere up the line converges.
Some relation, yeah. Wonder if Pablo's with us. So anyway, I should not be looking at the chat. That's rude. I apologize. There's just been some great chat going on. Mayamans here. Speaking of which, he is in the chat with us. Gorilla Jones is his YouTube handle. And we are going to talk about his sim rig. And we've got it as our sim rig of the week or month. I guess it's going to be of the month. This is our last show of the month.
Yeah, we're doing month.
So this is his Porsche chassis. It's work in progress. And basically, I just got some footage from our forums. Basically, he's taken a Porsche chassis and turning it into a sim rig, or portions of that chassis. So you can see the G seat from Sim Experience. He's going to have D-box actuators. He's going to have one of those SimPit Icarus screens, which we see here. AccuForce wheel with a Steve Spenceley custom rim. This is one of my favorite options here. First of all, I love the way the AccuForce fits in there, but look at the shifter.
Yeah.
Look at that Fanatic shifter in the console there. He's got gauges that are all working through Sim Projects, I believe. There's another shot of that shifter. That shifter looks so cool in there.
It does. It looks stock.
He's got ARC carbon pedals. And again, the platform is running a 4x D-Box 4250i system. The entire chassis is built from 80/20 profile, fiberglass, and real 996 carpet and other trimmings. And he's going to have full 5.1 surround sound. That screen he's going to be getting, the SimPit Icarus, is 5 feet by 12 feet. With an aggressive curvature of 230 degrees of visual coverage. Also had some shots of his other rig. He's got a human racing. I mean, this guy's got some really cool rigs.
Yeah.
He's got a human racing chassis that's all done up that you can see with a curved screen, projectors. So back to the Porsche one. Let's run that again because it's so cool. He's also going to have a second seat for a co-driver. So there's going to be 2 seats in that thing. He's going to have his projectors that he's using are Optima GT 1080s. And Will, I'm curious, is that 3 projectors you're running? 2? Obviously not 1 because you put projectors, but I'm curious if it's 2 or 3 projectors. He's going to be running an Alienware PC i7 5820K with with 2 GTX 980 Ti's and SLI.
That's how you do it.
That's like $1,500 a video card right there.
That is how you do it.
16 gigabytes of RAM. But this is one of the sweetest rig projects I've ever seen. I've seen a few people do in-car cockpits like this. There was a guy that did one for Gran Turismo.
Oh, wow.
That I think we shared on a show a long time ago. He's saying the second seat is in. Yes, 3, he just said in chat, 3 projectors. So, man, Will, I definitely want to make a trip. We talked about it earlier in the show if you weren't here yet. John and I want to come out and do a piece on this and drive the crap out of it. Hopefully I fit. 6'4"? Fit? I'm sure
I'll fit.
I'm sure the Musketeer will fit just fine.
Race car driver size.
But what do you guys think about that rig? And give Gorilla Jones, again, he's in our chat, Mayaman, give him some props here.
Yeah.
That is, I gotta say, that is not a cheap project.
No, and I mean, maybe you can answer here. I'm interested, how was it to source all those parts, all those Porsche parts? There's not a whole lot of Porsches out there. So that looked all legit. So that's crazy. Awesome.
It is. That is going to be a sweet setup. So, Man, thank you for sharing it with us. Matter of fact, everybody, we got a link in the description of the show here. You can check that out and join in on the conversation there. He starts on page 1 of that thread, and then if you go like 3 or 4 pages in, you can see the date change. It changes from like July to present. and then you're getting to the most current pictures. But anyway, he's getting some props in our chat. But yeah, that is really friggin' cool. Maybe I'll convert the Camaro into something like. Nah, I can't. I keep saying I'm going to do stuff with that car. I can't do that. It runs too good to do that.
Yeah. You got to go find. I'm sure you can go find a Camaro that was completely wrecked.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty cool.
I bet it's out there.
That's a lot of work.
Oh, that is a lot of work. That's a lot of work, and we're already somewhat tight on space.
Yeah. That would have to be like I have to build something out in the backyard, like a like a game room back there, or just like a sim room. I know.
Yeah, I like where this is
pretty
going.
Good idea, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So I think it's time for Q&A.
I believe it is that time of the show.
We took our time with the news because we were originally going to have Glenn McGee on the show. So if you were looking forward to talking to him or seeing him on the show, and if you're not familiar with who he is, he won that Mazda 24 Shootout, basically represented iRacing, and was one of 2 sim racers that were in that competition against a bunch of
Real world
grassroots racers, and he beat them. So anyway, Glenn, if you're watching, sorry you couldn't be part of the show, but we're going to have him on the show early in January, along with another budding race car driver, Ariel Biggs. Mm-hmm. She was going to be on today's show as well, but she's traveling to Indianapolis, and I think she's going to have some pretty cool news for us. She's a female from the West Coast, drove sprint cars. She's like 21 years old. She seems very personable, very marketable.
Yep.
And it seems like she can drive.
Yeah.
I mean, she's driving sprint cars.
Oh, so yeah, that's some badass stuff to drive.
Man, those are one of the scariest types of race cars on the planet.
They are not safe.
So anyway, we're going to have her on the show in January. Also planning lots of other interviews. We think we've got our whole interview situation sorted out. So we're looking forward to having. I want to have Wim Breeze on the show.
Yeah.
Tony Gardner from iRacing.
Yep.
Pablo GoPro Lopez offered to be on the show. Would love to have him in. He's a lot of fun to talk to. So Q&A time. We already got some questions that we saw earlier in the chat, and why don't you take the first one because I think it was addressed to you.
Yeah, maybe it was a question from Patman OC. Said congrats on 100,000. Sadly, won't be here for the stream tomorrow because Australian time zones. We know it's a little tough for you guys down there. Just want to ask, what is your opinion on Australian V8 Supercar Series? I love it, and I haven't been keeping up with the races. I know the season just ended, and for a little while there I was watching the races online, a little less than legally. And
we have no other way to watch it,
We have no other way to watch it. So yeah, I really like it. Want to do more driving in it. You know, I really like the V8s in iRacing. I like the V8 in Game Stock Car, which I gotta get Game Stock Car back up and running. I think I got it downloaded on Steam, and I had it up and running, but I haven't fiddled yet with the controls since I put all my games on the new SSD. So got to play around with that, but love V8 supercars. Love V8 supercars. I love Australia in general. Like, I really want to come to Australia sometime. Like, I just think it's just a really cool place.
I would love to go there too.
Yeah.
I have some friends there too, sim racing friends.
I've always had on my list.
So we got a few comments here. Krista Borgman. Do we have another female in the house?
Be awesome.
Hey, Krista, laughing her ass off. Sprint cars are not safe.
You know, when I said that, I was like, oh, I was almost going to add something to that. Okay, they're much safer than they used to be, but still, I mean, you had the World of Outlaws driver, really famous last name, the son, and he's a good driver. No, not Kins. I can't remember it now. But he got injured. He's like my age. He got injured, and right now he's going through physical therapy because his legs are paralyzed.
Oh wow!
And now it looks like he's gonna be able to walk again. But I mean, you know, Shane Neal had an accident. There's been a lot of guys who have broken backs. You know, Tony Stewart broke his leg a few years ago.
That was in a sprint car.
That was
too,
in a sprint,
wasn't it?
dirt sprint car. So it's there are safer forms out there.
You know, your hero, Jeff Gordon,
started there.
Yeah. He was a sprint car master at that age.
Yep.
He was badass.
Yep. No, I mean, hey, racing's always going to be inherently dangerous. I think some are more dangerous than others. I think sprint car, in the grand scheme of racing these days, is dangerous. Indy car is probably the most dangerous of them all. And then things like rally and drag racing's up there pretty high too.
Well, there's tons of questions coming, and we're going to be here for a while.
Cool.
Which is cool. This is our last show of the year, so we're going to go a little long. Thank you all for joining us again, and again, helping us get to 100,000 subscribers. We very much appreciate that. So I have added a ton of questions. If we scroll down here, John.
Okay.
And I blew them up a little bit so we can...
Okay, you want me to...
Swindell?
Swindell, yeah, Swindell. Yeah. I should have known that. I watched the interview that he did with Robin Miller, and he's getting better. But yeah, that's scary. Let's see. Question from Jonathan Depew. What would be a better buy for new pedal set? Fanatic V3s or the TPA or T3PA Pros with the load cell from Ricmotech? This is an interesting one because we just shot the review for the Fanatic V3s yesterday.
Fred Coate followed up with that question as well, so this answers Fred's question here too.
Okay, perfectly.
Thrustmaster 3.3 yeah, he asked the same question.
Yeah, so, I mean, honestly, this is a hard one. Saw this one before the show started and was kind of like, oh, I don't know. I'm running the Ricmotech load cell right now in my rig, and I do like it quite a bit. And the more I run it, the more I like how much resistance it has. How, because it's a load cell, it's all pressure based and it has like no travel. It is just straight pressure. The Fanatics, on the other hand, have quite a bit of travel. And at first, I wasn't in love with it. I've come around. I think that even though it has travel, it has a pretty good feel. So, boy, I think it depends a little bit what you're looking for. If you want something that's a little more towards a locational-based pedal, something like, getting back to the traditional like Logitechs and even regular Thrustmaster pedals, the Fanatic's more like that. If you want something that's just pure pressure, then I think the Ricmotech's the better way to go.
Now, my take.
Your take.
I would take the Fanatics. I really like the V3s. Not that I don't like the Pros. I do like the T3PA Pros, and I do like that load cell. But I like a little more give in my pedal, and the V3s are adjustable. And by the way, we have I don't know if you can reach it over there. They're coming out with a performance brake mod for the Club Sport V3s. And you can add the damper kit. They're over there behind, under that wheel, I think. Actually, never mind. Anyway, they're coming out with some basically some polyurethane sticks that are going to go in the cylinder for the brakes. But I like the Club Sports. If I could pick between the two, I would go with the Club Sports.
Yeah, you're definitely a little more bullish on them than I am. Yeah, it's hard. And the Club Sports they're a pretty piece. We call them the Darth Vaders.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of it will come down to, both are great sets.
Yep.
But a lot of it's just going to come down to what you get comfortable with. I think what ended up happening is you got comfortable with the Ricmotechs.
Yeah.
With the Thrustmaster with the Ricmotech mod, and then you went to the Fanatics, and you're like, ooh, I don't know if I like this as much. And
yeah.
I like a little more give on my pedals, and with those it's called a later. With that mod that's coming out, it's going to be $20. You'll be able to mix and match different softness or hardness to really create a progressive, or create a brake the way you want. So anyway, we got lots of questions. I added. Once you take the next one, I want to try to keep on top of these.
You keep adding, I'll keep reading.
Okay.
RGF543 asks, do you see Fanatic, speaking of which, making cheaper products around the price of the TX anytime soon? It does look like Fanatic's kind of cleared out their mid-range products with all the Porsche rims, but they announced that CSL rim, which we unboxed last week live on the show, and got it mounted and got to fire it up here probably today. And they also, when they released the CSL rim, Thomas talked about a CSL base, or at least mentioned it. So it appears like a more, what I like to call consumer-grade priced base is coming. And with that rim being $140, That looks like that's going to kind of be the mid-range wheel and base combo to take on the TX, so the Thrustmaster and Logitechs of the world.
Yeah, and I think they even announced, he announced at one point that he was coming out with a more budget system. And it makes sense based on that CSL rim that's coming too. And that CSL rim has, we showed it up, we unboxed it live on the show, has that basic quick release. So I could see that being used. What'd be cool is if that, I don't know if well, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see, but I don't know if a budget rim would handle a big, heavy, standard quick release.
I say probably not.
So I was thinking maybe you could use the other rims, but I don't know about that. Anyway, we'll see very soon. I'll take the next question here.
Okay.
God, we got so many. I got to scroll way up here. Mark McEwen. Anyway, you guys ever show the room off on camera? No, we haven't. But we're actually, that's what we should have done today. We should have had that extra camera hooked up to that other capture card.
Yeah, well, let's do that after when we get back, because we'll have it cleaned up a little more.
Maybe we should do a piece on that, like basically behind the scenes at Inside Sim Racing.
Yeah, and especially if we kind of do some of the updates that we've been talking about.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool to show.
Yeah. So there's
good question.
Yeah, that is a great question.
Jabber asked.
Actually, no, that's not a question.
That's not a question.
I should have deleted that. Next one from Jason K.
Hi, Darin and John. I need to know, should I buy WRC 5 for Xbox One today or wait for Dirt Rally? You
Wait for Dirt Rally. You know what? I've read that the Sebastian Loeb, not Lube.
Yep.
Loeb. By the way, Thomas at Fanatic told me that's how it's pronounced, and he's from Germany. So anyway.
So he's close enough?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Is that the argument?
Yeah, I guess he's close enough.
He's in Europe.
Yeah. But supposedly that's looking like they delayed it, and it's, I've seen some comments on it that they've done a lot of work to, I guess there's 300 different routes or kilometers or miles worth of, anyway, it looks like they've put a lot into that, but between those two, I'd wait for Dirt Rally.
Yes.
WRC 5, it was kind of a letdown.
I honestly haven't even driven it because I watched you drive it, and I was like, that's all I need to see.
Anyway, they just came out with a patch, and I haven't run it since on the PlayStation and the Xbox One. I do want to check it out there. Maybe get it and then sell it when Dirt Rally hits on April 5th, just to tide yourself over until then. But yeah, I would. If you want to wait for one, I would wait for Dirt Rally. So next up, Jens Nielsen. What do you think of Assetto Corsa's multiplayer policy regarding non-DLC players unable to play with DLC players? Just regarding vehicles, not the DLC tracks. So like in iRacing, if you're doing multi-class, you don't have to own all the cars on track.
Yep.
So I guess Assetto Corsa's policy, I didn't know this, is you have to own all the cars, the DLC cars, to race against them.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'd prefer to see it the way that iRacing has, even though the DLC is pretty affordable.
Yeah, I mean, the DLC isn't too bad with Assetto Corsa, so, but no, I agree. It would be nice if they did it how which that wasn't always the case. I remember back 2009-ish when I think it was the V8 Supercars, a Ford GT, something came out, and the week 13 I wanted to race, but I had to buy another car. I think I had to buy the Ford GT to race in it, for the multi-class, and I bought it just so I could race a different car in it, because you had to own all the content.
Yeah, originally it was like that.
When it first came out. And then they updated it where you didn't have to do that anymore, which is much nicer. So
and you got stuck with a car you probably didn't drive much.
Yeah, I didn't. So it'd be nice if they had that. But like Darin said, the DLC for Assetto Corsa isn't too expensive. So it's not the worst thing in the world.
By the way, thank you for all the congratulations for hitting 100,000. We've got a lot of great comments about that. I just saw another one, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his screen name. Awesome, congrats on reaching 100,000. Anyway, thank you all for the congratulations. We really appreciate that. And by the way, I've got a ton of your questions. So, matter of fact, I'll tell you if I have your question here, so you don't have to keep typing it in chat. Gaming X1X, Don Haston, Lek TV, I'm Z14UT2NV, Fred Smith, Harry Breen, Starbar, Deadpool, Evos Vex, Patrick Doan, and Gorilla Jones. I have all of your questions, and we're going to get to them. So let's keep going here. Speaking of which, Gaming X1X, do you think iRacing should add the Ferrari 458 endurance car? I would love to see iRacing add any Ferrari car, but based on talking to them, that's not happening.
Yeah, they said like they've tried, and Ferrari wants some insane licensing.
Ferrari makes, from what I understand, the majority of their money from licensing.
Oh yeah.
Not just licensing sim cars, but
Everything.
licensing,
keychains,
shirts, hats, all that stuff. So I don't see Ferrari ever coming to iRacing. That'd be great, but I just don't see it happening.
Yep.
Next question. Don Haston, why do you guys still run the Thrustmaster shifters? Do you not have the Fanatic shifter? I honestly don't have the Fanatic shifter any longer. I ended up selling it a while back. Just wasn't using it. And so, no, I don't have it any longer. Sold it to somebody in the forums. And I like the Thrustmaster shifter.
Like the Thrustmaster shifter.
I'd like to, and we didn't have the most current Fanatic shifter. I wouldn't mind getting that one so you could try it out, and maybe I'll talk to them. My relationship wasn't the best with Fanatic back then, but now it is. Everything's cool with them. There was another question that Gorilla Jones or Mayaman asked about Fanatic, and we'll get to that question about direct drive wheels in a minute. You got some questions on the side here?
Yeah, a few of them have been...
I saw you cutting and pasting.
A few of them have been directed at me. This was asked a few times. DA Master 316 asked, Darin, mate, what's your thoughts on Race Room? I love it.
I think it's great. I think they've really taken some big strides to make it a contender. We've talked about it a few times here on the show. I need to spend some more time with it. We should do a review on it now at this point, at this current state. But I think they've done some great work to make it a contender. What do you think?
No, I pretty much totally agree. I mean, it has come a long ways, and I know they teased that they're coming out. They teased the Audi TT release this morning, and I'm curious if it's out by now. Maybe you guys know. But yeah, that's either going to be out today or tomorrow.
Someone said earlier that there was an update to Race Room.
Okay.
So it sounds like
it's probably out. So I'd really like to try that out.
Why is J Gaming Games calling you William? This is John.
Yeah.
This is not William. And if you've seen William in person, he looks nothing like William. If you're talking about William, who used to work as a blogger on the show.
I was going to run the intro screen again with our names. That's okay. I don't want it to rerun the intro.
Everybody, John, meet everybody. This is John Sable, my co-host. So anyway, he was asking some questions. Actually, I'll get to his question here really quick since I just mentioned him. Don't want to make fun of you.
Well, I want to ask you this one.
What is your favorite car in Dirt Rally? Honestly, I don't have one.
I don't have one either. I do like the 2000 Subaru a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
I've been driving that a lot. Leak TV asks, any rig tips for a 6'7" guy? And this is for you entirely.
Try to build one that's custom. 6'7". I mean, that's 3 inches taller than me, and I think you would fit in a potentially a GT Omega Pro. He would fit in the next level.
He'd fit in the next level.
For sure. That goes, I mean, I have to move it up.
Yeah.
And I don't even have it on the furthest back setting. So a GT Ultimate from next level would fit you.
Yep.
I honestly recommend something custom, though, like my JCL 2B Faster 8020 rigger. There's a guy, 4Play Racing here in the States, that sells 8020. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much going to be your best bet. Then it ensures that it's going to be long enough for you, because then you can tell them most likely too. Say, hey, listen, I'm 6'7". I need to have that chassis set up for my taller frame. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's a great question.
Yep. Okay, the next one, IMZ14U2NV, fun name. Hi, I have noticed that John is doing most of his videos with real gloves and shoes. How does that feel, and do you like it better than without gloves? You know, when I first got it, especially the gloves, I was kind of like, ooh, this is weird. Especially because like it has a...
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah, what do I do with my hands? It has the seams on the... It's like a Robin Williams bit there. What do I do with my hands? Oh. And but because it has the stitching of the seams inside the gloves, so it kind of like rode between like my fingernail and finger, and it kind of felt weird. But now, I really miss not having them. Once in a while, just jumping in and out, I might not have them with me, and I'll just drive without gloves. And I really miss them. So, yeah, I've gotten really comfortable with them, and I like them a lot. And the shoes have been great. I mean, I needed the shoes real bad for all these load cell brake pedals we had, because it's just like socks were just not getting it done. So, yeah, no, I'm really liking the combo and happy with my splurge, since I definitely spent more than you really need to.
Yeah, and I'll answer that question too, because I race. Matter of fact, I'm wearing them right now. I have some Simpson racing shoes that matter of fact, if you were watching earlier, I was running them with Dirt Rally. At first, I didn't like them. Then I started getting some pedals that were the brake was too heavy, and I had to use them. Mm-hmm. But I got to the point where I like wearing them almost with every set of pedals now.
Yeah.
And then as far as gloves, I went and bought some Mechanics gloves. I don't think you saw me wear them the other day. And I don't know if your gloves fit tight at the tip.
Yeah, they're all pretty tight in there.
I was going to ask to try them on, but I don't think they're going to fit me.
No.
But the Mechanics gloves felt good through here, but they were just kind of fat-fingered at the end. And I was running the Momo Mod 27, and having my thumbs in the spokes it was just too big. So
yeah.
But I do like running with gloves too. Next question. Let's get on. We got lots of questions here. This one's to me actually, and I'll take it. Fred Smith asks, Darin, have you been able to get Sim Vibe running in Dirt Rally? Yeah, as a matter of fact, after the update, it stopped running. If you go into I think it's it's a config INI, I believe. So you go to your documents. It's basically the way you set it up originally. Go to your documents, and then you got to turn on. There's a motion, or there's a UDP entry. You got to edit that document. That could have been a tech tip too for today.
Yeah.
Get in touch with me privately if you can't figure it out. Darin@isrtv.com. But you have to enable that, and then I think the default IP address worked with SimVibe.
Okay.
So I had to tweak that configuration INI to get it to work. But yeah, if you watch me running there, I was running SimVibe.
Next question, Harry Breen, T150 or G920?
That's kind of an odd, because I mean,
there's a caveat with that one.
Well, the G920 is Xbox One and PC.
Yep.
The T150 is PS3, PS4, and PC.
Yes. Yeah. So there's that.
If you're going to run on the PS3, PS4, then it would be the T150.
Yep.
If you're going to run on the Xbox One, it'd be the G920.
Yep. Yeah. You'd have to get the pedals. I mean, the T150, it's an entry-level wheel. I mean, just the quality of it, as the materials and the feel. But I just think it drives better. And after years of dealing with the Logitech dead zone and the gear drives that can be kind of notchy, I'm over it. Like, I just can't do it anymore.
To my last question, Avenja, hey Richard, by the way, posted hardware_config_settings.xml is the file that you need to edit to get that to work.
Good catch.
So, anyway.
Starbar asks, GT Omega Art or Pro for a beginner? Depends what you're going for here, and also where you live. In some regions, the Art and the Pro are really closely priced. And I think if they are really close, then I think the Pro is
Pro's a better chassis.
It's better.
They're both good, though.
But they're both good, and the Art, I think, with the optional like casters and things like that, allows some maneuverability.
If you need to move it around from one area to another, it definitely makes for a better rig.
You do got to kind of rig up the pedal plate. The pedal plate's not good. It moves around a lot. If you watch our review, we're not big fans of that, but it can be strapped down. There's ways to get that to stay.
Man, with the amount of questions that are coming in, we're going to be here till you leave for your vacation. Speaking of which, I'm going to take one of the questions that we got about you going on vacation.
Oh man, can't wait.
Hold on, this is a great one.
While you're waiting for that, Deadpool asks, what do you think of the Isle of Man TT race, John? That's the most dangerous race out there, but that's amazing.
Where'd that question go?
Oh.
Hold on.
I'm going to keep rolling then.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Nicholas Bradshaw. He asked 2 questions, so we'll ask both these real quick. We were just talking about you going on vacation. Do you guys still play Forza 6 much? No, we've just transitioned to so many other things. I might, over the holiday while you're gone, I might boot it up and run some laps. Actually, we just did our Xbox One buyer's guide, so I'll be booting up Forza 6 to get some B-roll footage of that.
Yep.
So that's going to be coming soon, by the way. And John, how will you cope without the bat over Christmas?
Well, it's going to be hard to cope, but I was a little proactive the last time I was back in Ohio and built my girlfriend Angela a PC, a pretty sturdy PC, and she does have an ultra-wide monitor. And I do have my G27s at my parents' place. So, I'm going to be doing some racing. It won't be the bad experience at all, but I'm at least going to be able to do some racing.
John's going to be lucky if when he comes back, if the bat still is
I get back in here and I see it over on your rig.
Yeah, John's going to walk in and be like, "What? Hey, wait a second. I'm going to put the bat over on my rig while he's gone." And then I'm going to put my little 22 inches on your setup. John's going to come over and like drop to his knees.
I was thinking though, when I'm gone, you should go over and do some more driving over on those.
Oh my God! Now, J Gaming, dude, there is no William here. John and now I'm William. John and William, what first racing? Put the freaking splash screen up for him. Do it. Do we have it?
Let's see here.
There we go. We're gonna leave that up for you, JC. Or J Gaming.
Oh, that's funny.
Darin, John, no William. Hey, just messing with you, man. It's just funny.
Just really like that name.
Let's go back. So yeah, John is going to come back to no bat. It's going to be on my rig. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. Let's see. So where were we here? Oh, Isle of Man TT race. What do you think of it, John? Deadpool asked you.
Oh, I covered that one. That was awesome.
Oh, me too. I think that's freaking crazy.
That's the most dangerous.
Yeah. Evos Vex for Q&A. Are you doing any racing in real life? I wish.
That's why
we sim race.
That's why we have these obnoxious setups.
John and I do. We talked about this. We're hoping that we. Maybe he's confusing Darin with Will Ferrell.
That's funny.
John and I want to get to some track days next year here in Spokane. We got Spokane County Raceway, which is a fast course. There's a straightaway that is like a mile long with a kink in it that you're flat out through. I got a feeling I'm going to get the Camaro like close to 150 at the end of that straight.
Is it going to stop?
Yeah. I'll just make sure I stop early enough, but yeah, it'll stop. I got some decent brakes on that thing. Maybe for the first couple laps, but then I'm afraid that I'm not going to be pushing it that hard a little bit later in the run. But now, if we can afford it, I think either of us would be doing some real-life racing.
Yep.
We might do a Lemons race.
That'd be cool.
I definitely want to do something like that next year.
I definitely want to do that someday.
We need to get some drivers, but... next one, Gorilla Jones, and I'll answer this one too. Gorilla Jones, who is Mayaman, who is also... They've talked about it, so...
Yeah, I mean, they got such... I mean, we even said in the review, they have such a nice little niche there in, like, price and performance that I'd be surprised if they would try to go real high.
I would too, but who knows?
Let's see. Racing... Oh, here we go. Felix, what do you think of GTR 2? Do you think it's a legendary sim? I do.
I do too.
I love GTR 2.
Oh, it is. It's a classic.
Someone asked way early on when I got interested in sim racing, and I've been console racing with like the NASCAR series, big NASCAR fan, back like since like 2000, and my NASCAR racing 2003, I purchased that in 2006, and that was with a Momo Black wheel, and that was kind of my first PC sim racing title. But like not long after that, maybe like within like 6 months or so, I got GTR 2 for like $20 at the local CompUSA or one of the different chain computer stores that isn't around anymore, and I love that. That's why I fell in love with Brno. I'm probably not even pronouncing that right. I don't know how to
How
say
else would
it.
it be pronounced? BRNO.
BRNO, but I love that. However you say it, I love that track, and yeah, I love GTR too.
J Gaming Games asked, John and Darin, what is your favorite car on Forza 6? And I did get your name right. Yeah, you did that time. And I'm not 66 randomness. You know, I don't have a favorite on. There's so many to choose from. You know, and I haven't driven enough of them really to have a favorite. I mean, I like a lot of them, so I really couldn't pinpoint.
What I like about it is I like that I can drive cars that I've driven in real life. So I like that my GTI's in there. I like that my old E36 M3's in there. My dad has an E39 M5 that I've been able to drive. So and drive in real life and in game. So I like that.
Okay, so next question. We got some good ones here.
Let's see. Okay, Racing Rivals. Speaking of Forza, Racing Rivals giveaways. Do you think they'll continue Forza Horizon 3?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so.
They've been alternating every year between Motorsport and Horizon. Yeah. I got a feeling Horizon 3 will be coming up next. And I'll take the next question. Ren Collective. Any news on Sim Experience pedals? No. Haven't heard anything from them about that. We already asked answer the Forza 6 question. Here, you can take this one, John. Don Haston asks, are you thinking about maybe doing some more special racing events?
Yeah, and I was thinking about this the other day, and just kind of looking out there in the world of sim racing, and you know, it's funny, and I mean, we're kind of in this as kind of being like the media of it, but you know, there's a lot of people out there, you know, debating on forums and YouTube videos and this and that, and probably not as many people as should be out there racing. You know, you only have so much free time in a week, and we definitely enjoy it that you spend it with us, but also it's important to get out there and go racing, and we got to somewhat remind ourselves of that too, because we get busy working, and sometimes, you know, we don't get to do as much racing as we would like. So, you know, we talked about doing special events, potentially after live shows, and really want to make that a point in 2016, and, you know, probably try to do something where it's like at least once a month, we do some kind of get-together where all you guys here, you know, either we do it after the show or maybe do it another day, but we try to get some events that we do. With that said, we are going to run an iRacing special event.
I was just going to ask you if you got to that.
In January at the Nordschleife. So that will be one way that we can all kind of get together and interact. But besides that, want to do a little more us getting together and racing and doing a bunch of different titles, you know, outside of iRacing.
That would be cool. Okay, so we got some other cool questions here, and we need to cut it short here, or not cut it short. We're going very long, so maybe let's go 10 more minutes, then we'll be in an hour and a half.
Sounds good.
Oops. Someone asks, what Gen Camaro do you have, Darin, and what Golf do you have, John? Why don't you go first?
I have a 2013 Mark 6, I believe it's Mark 6, 6-speed manual.
And mine is a 4th generation Camaro, the 97. So I have the year before they switched to the LS1.
Just GTI with the five-door.
Unfortunately, I wish I had an LS1 motor, but mine's a 97 Z28 that I've modified quite extensively. New motor in it, heads, cam, bunch of bolt-ons, suspension, rims, tires, brakes. So yeah, that's my Camaro. And if we go to the track, matter of fact, if you do a search for Spokane Fast Friday, something like that, maybe even put Camaro in the search on YouTube, you can see me drag racing my Camaro here at the local track. So next question. John, how did you and Darin meet? You're like 18 and Darin is like 54. And what the hell John is not 18. Well, you're 27, right?
27. So there's a 20-year.
And 47, so there's a 20-year gap.
Met because Darin put out back in...
People saying I'm... Come on, that's 7 years older than... Do I look 54?
Man, did a good job offending both of us.
I know.
I always complain how young I get labeled.
Yeah.
2013 on Facebook, I believe I saw it, looking for people to blog for the website. And I was kind of like... I was doing aerospace engineering, and I got laid off, because that's what happens. And so I was just kind of sitting around not doing much at home while I was going to school. But besides that, I had plenty of free time, so I applied and started blogging then. And then over the past summer, I kind of started talking about potentially coming up and co-hosting. So, yep, it's been almost 2 years now, which is crazy.
Backyard Sim Racing, you got a channel, buddy. I've seen your... Or actually, you're the guy that did... I think you're the guy that did the TX mod, but he had a black 97 Z28 6-speed. And LT1 is still a good motor. I mean, I beat the crap out of the first one before it blew up. Anyway, back to that last question. John was a great find for, first of all, for the blogging, and then when he wanted to come work here on the show, it was, he came here and I interviewed him and we hit it off, and he's been a perfect fit. So I'm really glad to have him here. So anyway, mine's a 6-speed too, by the way, backyard racer. Randomness. How do you become faster? No matter how much I practice I do, I just can't find that extra pace, and I'm not fast to begin with. Well, it is practice makes perfect, but if you're on iRacing, like, go in, try to join some sessions where you can watch other people's lines. Mm-hmm.
Watching people does help a lot.
Yeah, seeing where their breaking points are. Getting on track and trying to do a lead and follow. So if you get behind somebody and try to follow them, and you'll see where they're out braking you. Really hitting your apexes. That's really all of the the biggest tips that we can give you. Some people just aren't naturally fast though either, and it takes more work than it does others. So
yeah. I mean, and the biggest thing is just kind of find a groove where you're enjoying it. Like Darin said, not everyone's going to be the fastest. It's like I would say we're above average speed wise, but we're definitely not
aliens.
No, we're not aliens. I mean, I wouldn't put myself in the upper 80 percentile. I'm like so in the iRacing forums when we posted that first F1 video, someone said can we watch a video with good driving, not slightly above average at best driving, which I was kind of yeah, that pretty much describes me. I'm above average at best.
Yeah, no, you know what? I disagree with that. I think we're better than above average.
I think we are too.
We're not alien status. I think especially since you've come on board, you see what it's like being in my shoes now, and it's hard to focus on any one car.
Yes.
Or series because we're just bouncing around so much. And I think if either one of us really focused on something, I don't think either one of us could be aliens.
Yeah.
But we definitely can hold our own in some pretty fast fields. And honestly, I think if either one of us had great setups on the oval side of things, I think we could compete. I'm not saying top 10 in the World Championship Series, but I'd say we'd be mid-packers.
Yeah, I think especially the IndyCar, when they ran the Indy 500, I ran in the second split and I was running 5th before I chucked into the wall.
It depends on the track and car comp. Now, Indy 500, you give me a super high quality setup, and I think I can run with anybody.
Yeah, and that setup we were using, that was a handful.
It was garbage.
Oh my God, that was so hard.
But I ran in the top split a few years back in the Indy 500 and was holding my own.
Yep.
Upper pack. So again, it really depends on the car and track combo. I've really got a good handle on Indy. As a matter of fact, the DW12 was at Indy Fixed the other day, and I joined a practice session. 3 laps in, there was 40 people that had run laps.
Yeah.
3 laps in, I was the fastest guy with a fixed setup.
Nice.
So I guess it really depends on how much experience we have at a particular car, track, combo. But I think we can be better than above average. In the GP video we did with the McLaren, we were just above average. But we were just getting a hand for the,
Absolutely.
feel for the car. We didn't, and not to toot our own horns or defend ourselves, but we didn't have a handle on that car yet.
No.
So
I think I was able to at least redeem myself a little bit on that the combined Nordschleife lap.
You did. You got a lot of props.
Got a lot of good
Someone
comments.
even called you an alien.
I got a couple of aliens. So I missed this, but someone commented about they like my hair, which I totally have the dad look going today. Getting ready to go hang out with the little one at Disney World.
Deadpool also asked to Darin and John, what's your favorite F1 era? Mine was the 90s.
My favorite year to watch was 2007, 2008. It was just that year. The year of the competition was just insane. But I mean, I didn't start watching until 2004. So.
My favorite era, and it's just going back and watching some of the history of it, is like in the 70s. Mm-hmm. You know, when Niki Lauda and James Hunt and those guys raced. That era was, I think, really super cool.
Yeah.
You know, and like when Ayrton Senna raced.
Yeah.
Like even that year, those years were pretty intense.
Yeah.
The years I was just talking to transitioned into the Ayrton Senna era. And I think he's one of the greatest racers of all time.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've gathered, it's always rose-tinted glasses to some degree. Because I see it with NASCAR fans, people are like, "Oh, the '90s were amazing." I'm like, "No, I watched it. It wasn't. It's more exciting now to some degree." But yeah, no, it looked like F1 for a while there was just like some amazing racing, some passing and overtaking that you just do not see today.
Yeah. And then Nikki Jakavik, why don't you guys follow a few proper leagues like in the old days to give some publicity to alien racing?
Well, there's a lot of publicity these days, especially like on the iRacing side, to the aliens.
Yeah, well, and we do cover like the pros, the top series.
Yeah.
Honestly, we get hit up by so many different leagues.
Gets
I mean,
hard.
maybe next year we'll try to cover or give some shout outs, maybe do a league of the week. So hit us up, coming into next year, we'll give you guys a shout out, but covering a race from, a private league, we're not going to do that. It's just honestly, doing this for 8 years now, one of the most time-consuming edits in post-production is doing post-race coverage. It is so much work, honestly, for so little reward when it comes to viewership.
Yeah.
That it's just, and I love doing them. I love spending time on doing post-race reports. Like I did one for our Daytona 24-hour race. Mm-hmm. That took me, you know what it's like to edit now.
Yes.
So any edit that you've done, multiply that by like 5, and that was the Daytona race.
Yeah.
Capturing all the footage, and that was a 24-hour race, so there was a lot to cover, but capturing all the footage, going over what took place during that race, and then editing it all together, it is very time-consuming. But anyway, we definitely would like to cover, or at least give shout-outs to different leagues. So hit us up, and we'll do our best to do that.
Yeah, and piggybacking off that, someone asked about, are we going to do like reviews or coverage? I think they're getting at more software even when there aren't new updates. And I think Darin mentioned probably an hour ago now that we would hopefully in the new year we want to do more coverage of like reviews. Kind of like what we did. I mean, the only one we've really done together so far is Forza 6.
Yeah.
And that was in depth, 45 minutes of it. So
those are time consuming too.
And that's why we don't get to those all the time, because those are a lot to do. We've had a lot of other things going on, and those aren't easy to do.
John and I talked through this idea around, and we'd love to hear your comments on this, about doing some reviews live. And for us, it would be a lot easier just to roll some random B-roll or some footage while we're talking about it and go over some things and do one of those reviews live. Because that's another very time-consuming thing. We like to do the first looks. Those are usually, we cover every new title.
Yep.
But doing in-depth reviews, they're usually lengthy, and it takes us a long time to put them together. Yeah. But we do want to do more. We know we missed out on like Project Cars, Assetto Corsas.
Needs it. iRace needs to be updated. Yep. Race Room.
Game Stock Car, the Extreme. I did one 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yep.
But haven't done the updated version of it. WRC 5, F1 2015. I mean, they're very time consuming. And now that we've kind of transitioned through the end of the year and got through a lot of the new hardware and stuff that came out, and even though it may be a little dated, we'll probably touch on a lot of those coming into the new year.
Yep.
So why don't we take a couple more questions and wrap it up? We're at an hour and a half. And for those of you joining us late, what do you think about the ugly Christmas sweaters? I'm like, let me model it here a little bit for you guys. Check it out.
You know, I have red pants that I almost wore today, but I didn't because it's like no one can see them. But
my wife said when we're going to this ugly Christmas sweater party, I'm like, I'm dressing full elf, Will Ferrell elf. What? You're not going to be wearing tights? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm wearing tights. I'm going full Will Ferrell elf. And she's like, no, you're not. I mean, I'm meeting a lot of her associates at work for the first time. She's a medical assistant, and I'm like, no, I'm doing it. I'm wearing the friggin' I'm not doing that. That would be crazy.
that would be so funny. Here's a good one that just popped up from Mike Hikes. Any plans on reviewing mods like back in the day? Top sim car, track list kind of thing. Well, Darin should probably answer this, but I'll just jump in. Like we're kind of saying, we have so much stuff hardware-wise and catching up on what's released from the different developers that I don't necessarily see us getting there. If we get thin on things to cover, then sure. But even like on the blogging for the website, I've kind of really knocked down on a lot of the different mods just because it gets really hard to cover. There's just so much stuff out there. So maybe, but I wouldn't hold your breath too much on that.
Ron Velrani said covering R Factor 2, and that just goes to that question that was just asked about doing more software reviews. Yeah, that's another one we want to cover.
Yep.
Killing Time asks, are those two dinosaurs on your shirt about to mate?
It would definitely be an interesting species.
It looks like they might be. Yeah, that would be quite a cross.
I mean, it's the holiday time, We got Santa and reindeer too.
Oh boy.
Someone said that they would like live reviews would be great. We can ask the questions that matter to us.
Yeah, that is something that we talked about. We did a live review, then we'd probably hold not this long of a Q&A, but maybe a 10, 15 minutes where people can ask some questions.
So, should we wrap it up? I think we should. I saw another, do you transition to me on the mod thing?
Yep.
I don't know, I was reading the question, so I missed what you said, but there's just not as many as there used to be.
That too.
Back when we did the top sim car. But yeah, I mean, if we find some quality mods, I could see us potentially cover it. Maybe even do a segment on the show, on the live show.
What I was saying, we're so backlogged on just covering what the developers are doing and hardware that, if we get to them, maybe. But like you said, back in the day when you guys were doing a lot of that, what were the shows in town? R Factor, NASCAR Race 2003, both in heavy mod mode.
NASCAR 2003 was actually, we were transitioning out of it by the time we started the show.
GTR 2 maybe a bit. All those things that were...
It was mostly R Factor.
I mean, you guys, when you guys were doing that and starting the show, there was like nothing out there new.
No.
It was only mods. So that was really the only thing to cover.
Top Sim Track SynthBet 715, that would be... that'd be good. I think, adding segments like that to this show, like we started doing some tech tips.
Yep.
Just like we do the rig of the week versus just focusing on kind of the generic news.
Yeah.
I think would make this show even more unique.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check on it before we go.
Oh, doing the iRacing.
Let's check out iRacing and see if it's.
Still
got the updating screen. Let's show you guys here real quick.
Darn.
This is what it's showing on iRacing right now. Anyway, a shout out to iRacing because we know what they've got to be going through. They're probably pulling their hair out trying to get this build out, and I know they want to get it to you guys. So, speaking for them, be patient. It'll come soon.
Yeah.
Hashtag soon.
Hashtags. It's always hashtag soon.
It is for iRacing.
Well, Race Room did that today with the TTs. They did a hashtag soon. So
that didn't come out with the or maybe it did.
they released that this morning. They said an update was coming, so it might be out by now. But yeah, it's catching on. I like it. I use it as much as possible.
Hashtag soon.
Hashtag soon.
Nice. Anything else before we go?
No, I just like to, I guess, as we kind of have this platform, just kind of wish everyone happy holidays. And,
Sure. Safe holiday.
Yeah, and thanks for watching, especially this live show. This was kind of something where I came in and I really wanted to do like a podcast angle. You wanted to do the live show, have it live. And, you know, somehow we kind of whipped it together week one.
Yep.
And since then, I mean, hell, it worked perfectly week one. We went downhill there for a little bit with technical issues. But
Well, we figured them out. We actually had the hiccup on that video, but I think it's because we had 2 videos in that scene.
Yeah, we broke our rule. So no, it's been a lot of fun, and yeah, really loved interacting with you guys, and it's cool to see new faces too popping up every week. So
And
yeah.
the old faces.
And the old faces.
Great
so.
interacting with you guys and girls. We've got
Yeah.
another woman here in chat today, but yeah, it's a lot of fun interacting in chat. As you can see, it's hard to pull away from it. And we've since added this, so you know you guys can see it. You know what the interaction that's been going on after. And I've noticed you have to really watch it on a bigger monitor to see that chat. If
Yeah.
you're trying to watch it on a phone, forget it.
Yes.
But like on a laptop, if you go full screen 1080, you can see it. On a big monitor, you can definitely see it. You know, watch the live show on on your TV through like your PlayStation or something like that, and you know go to the YouTube app. Even if you have a smart TV,
Yep.
and just look up This Week Inside Sim Racing, and you'll probably find the show. So anyway, thank you all again for the congratulations on hitting 100,000 subs. And if you haven't subscribed, we'd really appreciate it if you did, and a thumbs up on this show would also be appreciated. And again, like John said, happy holidays to everybody out there. Hope you have a safe and happy one, and Happy New Year to you too. Again, we're gonna have a few more shows coming before the end of the year. We've got, just to wrap things up here,
Yep.
tell them what we got going. Friday, we've got the Bowden Solutions T3 PA load cell. That show's already done. We're gonna release it on Friday. Maybe even tomorrow. What do you think? Yeah, we'll release it in the next couple days. The Fanatic Club Sport V3 pedal review, a look at the Club Sport Wheel V2 on the Xbox One. We've got our Xbox One buyer's guide. BenQ single monitor show.
Maybe.
John wanted to do a year-end show, which I don't think we're going to do. I think this kind of acted as our year-end show to an extent. By the way, what a great year in sim racing this has been.
Yeah.
Tons of great content, great new hardware, and lots of stuff on the horizon too. So sim racing just keeps getting better and better. So any other videos we got coming? I think that's about it.
No, I think that'll wrap us up. But that'll be a couple videos per week.
Maybe a test drive or two.
Yeah, maybe a test drive or two would be nice. So, but yeah, no, we'll keep you guys busy watching our shows up until the end of the year. And
Yep.
We'll be back. I'm back on the 1st. We're back at it.
Yeah, let's check it before we go here. Our first live show is going to be January 6th, it looks like. Which, by the way, my daughter comes into town, so I think actually she comes in that day. Yeah, she does. That's my wife's birthday, as a matter of fact.
Oh man, all
She
sorts of
comes
stuff
in
going
that
on.
night, so we'll be able to do a live show that day. So January 6th is our first live show back. But again, like we mentioned, lots of shows coming between now and then. And come join us at our forums, isrtv.com/forums. We'll be frequenting there, and like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. So that's going to wrap it up.
Yep.
For John Sable, I'm Darin Ganji. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.